The government is announcing today a fund of £1.2 billion to help save crumbling schools and hospitals. But a report from last year suggested that £13 billion was needed for the backlog of repairs on NHS estates.
A report also showed that 1 in 6 children are being taught in schools that are in need of major repairs. So, will this funding be enough? We're joined now by the Minister for School Standards, Catherine McKinnell. A very good morning to you, Catherine McKinnell. I'm just going to pick up on an interview that we were just doing a moment ago, which was about special educational needs and the statement of need, the EHCP statement, which I know you'll be very familiar with. This is a legal document, for those who don't know, for children who are often in mainstream school but do need perhaps a teaching assistant or one-on-one help in order for them to integrate and actually make it into school and thrive. The reports are that there is going to be an overhaul of this legal document. And we've been hearing from 2 parents this morning who speak for hundreds and hundreds more, who say that if this specialist care, legally binding, is taken away from them, it will be catastrophic for the outcomes of thousands of children who have all sorts of different educational needs. They are very, very scared about what will happen to their children. They simply won't be able to go in anymore. What would you say to them this morning about these reports that suggest that this kind of specialist care is going to be taken away?
So the first thing I would say is that we are looking at the system because it's vital it's reformed, because far too many children are just not getting the care and support that they need with their education. So the reforms that we're looking at are not about taking away any support that children have, but actually making sure that children do get the support that they need. The last government themselves described this current system as lose, lose, lose. So we're really focused on improving outcomes, first and foremost, for children that have special educational needs, and making sure we have a system that provides for that. So making sure we have really early investment, early intervention. We're investing in speech and language. We're investing in neurodiversity training for teachers. And we're looking at the system and how does it deliver better outcomes for children. Okay. That's the #1 priority for us.
So from that, can parents this morning and viewers take it as a guarantee that no child currently on an EHCP in a mainstream school will lose that provision under your reforms, that they will keep that legal right and the care, one-to-one care that they currently have?
So absolutely, we are not looking at removing support for children. We're looking at increasing it. The fact is that under
a guarantee, just to be clear, because I feel like people hide behind words like reform and improvement, and often parents and children will fall through those gaps in all sorts of different departments, not just education. Is that a guarantee?
I think the fact is that under the current system, hundreds and thousands of children are not getting the support they need. So that's what we're focused on ensuring, and not taking away any support that children currently have, but just increasing it for those that are not currently getting that support. Okay. That's within mainstream schools, that's within special schools, that's right across the system. We really want to improve outcomes for children. So
you don't want to use the word guarantee, but what you do want to guarantee is improvement of school buildings. Why the announcement today, £1.2 billion. Now, there are 1.6 million children, roughly, in schools needing major repairs as of last year. Help me, Minister, how many still are? That was 1.6 last year. What's the precise number?
So we have had a situation where schools and hospitals are in a shocking state of disrepair, which is why we are announcing the £1.2 billion today.
Help me. Forgive me. Let me interrupt you. That's not the question I asked. I just want to know. People want to know the facts. How many kids are going to schools? 1.6 million last year are in schools still in need of major repairs. I mean, you've got this policy. There are, just let me help you out, the money you've got earmarked is for 656 schools. That's less than the amount needed to repair them. So just how many? What's the number?
Yeah, so what I was clarifying is that this money that we have allocated today, that is in addition to the other funding that is already going in to rebuild schools that need to be rebuilt, to make sure that we are improving the condition of schools pending them being rebuilt. And also where schools don't need a full rebuild, but actually, you know, they have asbestos, they have broken boilers, they have schools that are, still literally on props, and that, I think, is the defining image from the previous government.
There are many people saying that this isn't going to be not just enough money, but also not enough time. For example, the dangerous concrete rack that's in schools, only 30 have had them removed. That's out of 237. And it's going to take, some people say, up to 5 years to rebuild those schools. You know, you're a mum, as well as being a minister. It's dangerous conditions. Would you be happy sending your kids to a school with dangerous rack in it?
Absolutely no children should be going to a school that is dangerous, but also, actually, every child should be going to a school that is safe and comfortable and that they can thrive and learn in, and we can really guarantee those excellent outcomes for every child. So we are working at pace. There is a big acceleration of the rebuilding plans. We've got £1.4 billion going in to that to support the rebuilding, school rebuilding. So
you say this money, you say this money is enough to make every school safe and to improve school conditions for every school young learner. But that can't possibly apply to the NHS. I mean, this money's been earmarked for both. The maintenance backlog for the NHS is £13.8 billion. Your announcement covers £750 million. Now, the great British public are not stupid. That's not enough money, is it? It's not a fix. I mean, if a patient needed £13,000 for surgery and you offered £750, that wouldn't be curing the patient, would it?
So I absolutely agree with your sense of urgency around improving our capital building estate. It is in a terrible condition. And we know that that's not only affecting outcomes for patients, outcomes for schools, it's also affecting those that work in those systems. It's actually preventing appointments from happening. I mean, imagine being a surgeon and not knowing if the electricity will come on because it's rained the night before. It's completely unacceptable. So this funding is for 1 year, this year, just to make sure that we upgrade the estate where there are these particular sticking points that are preventing services from being delivered. There is also a big investment generally in capital spending, particularly in the NHS, but also in education to rebuild the schools. But that's obviously a longer term investment. It's around £3 billion a year in terms of NHS. And, in the schools, it's £1.4 billion this year. Yeah. Obviously, we've got a spending review coming. There will be more clarity on exactly what the spending will be in years to come. But the fact is that it does take time to rebuild this infrastructure. It's been run down for 14 years. We are absolutely urgent about getting it up to scratch, up to standard.
We hear but
actually, it does take time.
OK. Now, I wonder, often these are the schools and the people who are poorest and who are affected by this. I feel confident you'd agree with that. Now, I wonder, how embarrassed are you? Because I feel you are, that Nigel Farage, on behalf of Reform, have said that the two-child cap, benefit cap, is wrong. Why can't the Labour Party come out and say the same thing? Let me just help you for a second. The CPAG, that's a Child Poverty Action Group, say that scrapping the cap would lift about 350,000 children out of poverty overnight. So isn't it time that the Labour Party said, right, it's time to scrap this? Why are you allowing Nigel Farage to win on that ground?
So, to be really clear about the schools and the capital funding and the NHS, that actually this is right across the board, is the challenges within the estate. And,
I know I will come to your question, but our viewers deserve an answer. I mean, keep asking you straightforward questions. Is that enough money? And I frankly don't understand the answer because there's lots of words but no specifics. We ask for a guarantee. You don't give a guarantee. And this is a very straightforward policy. Is it time that you scrap the two-child cap? That's what Reform has done. And you don't give a straightforward answer. And I wonder whether you might agree, you're a politician knocking on people's doors, that's the reason why Reform is winning so much ground against you.
No, I'm happy to answer the question. I was just clarifying that actually there are schools that were rebuilt under the last government that are already crumbling, which is why we are taking the time to do this properly and invest it right across the board to make sure we have a schools and NHS capital infrastructure that really does deliver that plan for change that we have for Britain. And that plan for change involves making sure we have sustainable finances that we can then grow the economy from, and make sure that we do invest in our public services, but also in our children and families. And we're not waiting, to be honest. We do have the Child Poverty Task Force that is going to report on all of the measures that we want to see put in place to really change the lives of children.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Wasting time.
The question is...
Well,
I mean, our viewers can be the jury. Excuse me, our jury can be. Our viewers can be the jury on whether you answered the question. We hear what you say, and you've got a child poverty task force. Except you didn't answer the question of whether Labour are going to scrap the cap. But we watch this space. Perhaps you will in due course.